Let's go over some different ways to organize Google Chats. You'll see that there's a section here called Direct Messages, and you'll see that there is a unread direct message here. You'll also see that there's a notification bubble of 1 under the chat area, meaning that there's one thing that hasn't been read. You'll also notice up in the home area, it is bolded, which means there's something unread up there. So organizing things in chat, they have a few filters. So you can, up here you have a filter. I'm in the home section right now. I can click this toggle and it will only show me things that are unread. So that's one way of filtering things. In the direct messages section, if you had many direct messages, there's also a filter here that you can click, and it will show you only things that are unread. There's another one here in spaces, so you can filter out only spaces that have something that is unread. So those are our unread filters. Now, after you've read something, oh, it says hello, I need to get back to that person. The easiest thing to do is to maybe make it bold again so that it brings it to your attention. On the actual message, the 3 dots, you can click those and mark as unread. So that's one option. If I do that, that one message shows up unread. The other option is on the person's name, the direct message itself, you can click the 3 dots and there's a mark as unread. So you can just basically mark that direct message person as unread, and it's not necessarily identifying a specific chat within that conversation. Mark an entire space as unread just to give it some attention, and notification bubble will change as well. So that's another way of kind of organizing your chats. So we can mark things as unread. We can toggle the unreads on and off. Oh, let's do that on spaces since we have more spaces. If I mark this was unread and then I toggle it, it'll automatically remove all the other spaces. So you only see the ones that are needing your attention. Okay, another way of organizing is to pin something. So say I want this A space to always be at the top. I can pin it, and now it's got like a little push pin on it. So it's keeping it at the top, no matter how these other spaces switch orders. As you get chats in a space, that space will kind of gravitate towards the top of the list, and the list is going to always be reorganizing itself depending on what the last space was that you had a conversation coming in through. Okay, so say there's a lot of stuff going on in a space and you just don't want to be notified of that particular space for a while, you can mute it. So there's a mute button here. And again, I just click the 3 dots to get to this menu. And if you want to change your notifications on that particular space and you don't want as many or you want more, then you use that notifications here. I'm going to skip this one and pop down here to the leave. So if you're in a space and you don't feel like you need to be in that space anymore, you have the option to leave it. And the last one here is, say you got put in a space that you did not want to be in anymore. So you can block it. It's kind of like a spam type of thing, but hopefully the people we interact with, we don't need to block them. Now we've covered how to just make something unread or read, and that way you can, if it's unread, you know you need to get back to it. But what happens if you need to find a chat or a conversation in the future and you don't want to lose that content? So there's a couple things you can do in the actual chat itself, and that is you can go to the menu. On a mobile device, you're probably long pressing on this chat topic here, and we already covered the unread, but there's this one option called star. So if you star a message, it'll show up now up here in your starred menu. So you can star direct messages, you can star any actual chats in any of your spaces, and your starred section at the top will compile all of the starred messages together into one area. And that way you can just go to one place to get to all your important information, which is kind of handy. Finally, another way of organizing things is if anybody has @mentioned you, then you can click this @mentioned section. Those chats will show up in this area. Okay, so I just @mentioned myself. And if I come up here to @mentioned, then anything that has the @mentioned chats will show up here. Then there's also the home page. The home page is a compilation of all of your chats and spaces, and you can filter it by thread. So anything that has threaded replies in it would show up, and you can click on unreads like we talked about. And then if you're on a desktop, these are just more options. You can have a single pane or you can have a split pane. So if you highlight something on the left, it'll show more content of that chat on the right, or more content of the thread. So that is how home, mentions, and starred works. Now the three things I'm going to cover now are only available on a computer. I showed you that there was the different sections, direct messages, spaces. There's a little bar at the bottom and you can click and drag that. So if you had more direct messages, you could make that list taller or smaller. I can show it here on the spaces. There's this bar down here and I'm going to move it up so I only see 2 spaces at a time. And then I can click the show all to expand it and show less to make it smaller. So it's just a way of kind of keeping your desktop real estate controlled as you get more and more spaces. The other fun thing that they've started letting us do is we can actually create our own sections. So you see how everything got a little mixed up? I have an A space, I have B spaces down here, C spaces here. Those three are kind of actually related, and I'd like to keep them together if I could. So if you click the 3 dots, you can move a conversation to a new section. And down here it says, what's your section name? And I'm going to call it ABC section. And just click the little check mark, and that gives me a section. And then I can just grab the B space, click, and then all the sections are now just sort of bubbles. And I can see my ABC section, and I can just drop it in the ABC section. So I can use my mouse to move things around, or I can use the 3 dots and then click the move conversation and then tell it to go to the ABC section. So there's click and drag, and then there's the mouse click method. So within A, B, and C, I don't know if there's a good way of organizing those except for maybe pinning them. I might pin that one next and then that one next, and then they might always stay in the same order. So that's a thought. It's up to you after that. Another way you can create a section without doing the mouse click way is you just grab a space and click down and hold it, and you click up here, drag and drop a conversation here to create a custom section. So you just drag it to the top, let up, and then you give it to a name. And then I'll just call that the special section. And click the check mark, and it created a special section. Now the sections themselves can be moved around in different orders, and you just click and drag it. So I want to put the special section at the bottom, I want my direct messages at the top, and everything looks good. Now within each of the sections you still have that gray bar where you can make one section big and one section small, that type of thing. So hopefully that'll help you be able to organize your spaces as you acquire more of them in your life. And that is all I was going to cover on organizing chat.